When it comes to League of Legends, nothing gets fans more hyped up than the creation of a super team. But what exactly is a super team? Well, in the world of LOL esports, a super team is a roster that boasts 4 or more superstar players, individuals who are ranked among the top 3 or 5 in their roles before the season even begins. These aren't just good players. These are legends of the game who've already proven themselves at the highest levels. Now, when an organization pulls together this much talent, expectations are naturally sky high. Fans expect them to dominate the regular season, breeze through playoffs, and make deep runs at international tournaments like Worlds. The buzz around super teams is insane. They're seen as almost unstoppable forces, and everyone either fears or supports them. But here's the kicker. Despite all the hype and talent on these rosters, super teams seem to fail way more often than they succeed. So the big question is, why do these super teams with all their stacked talent so often fall short when it matters most? Let's dive into that. So what exactly goes into creating a super team? It all starts with assembling superstar players. These are the best of the best. Players who've consistently dominated their lanes and racked up championship titles. Bringing them together on one roster is like forming an esports dream team, but it's not easy. Why? Because talent like this comes with a massive price tag. Not every organization can afford to sign multiple top-tier players, which is why true super teams are pretty rare. When a super team does come together, the expectations are huge. Fans and analysts immediately predict regular season dominance. You've got a roster full of superstars, so finishing anywhere outside the top 3 is seen as a failure. And when it comes to playoffs and international tournaments like Worlds, these teams are almost always the favorites. Think of squads like 2019 G2 Esports, 2022 Team Liquid, and 2022 Gen G. All super teams that were built with the expectations of international success. The hype around these teams isn't just about potential, it's about expectation. When you stack this much talent, people expect nothing less than championships. But as we'll see, having all these pieces doesn't always mean they fit together perfectly. Let's take a look at the curse of super teams in recent years. Despite all the hype and expectations, many super teams have fallen short of their goals, and the results speak for themselves. Take 2022 Team Vitality from the LEC and Team Liquid from the LCS. Both of these rosters were packed with talent, yet neither of them even made it to Worlds, which was a massive disappointment for fans and analysts alike. Then you've got Gen G from the LCK and Top Esports from the LPL. These were teams expected to dominate the international stage at Worlds, but they failed to deliver the kind of performances everyone was anticipating. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. There have been a few rare successes. For example, 2019 G2 Esports won MSI and placed second at Worlds. And 2021 Damwon Kia made it to the finals at both MSI and Worlds. But those cases are the exception, not the rule. For the most part, fans have grown skeptical of super teams because we've seen too many of them collapse under the pressure of high expectations. It's almost as if there's a curse hanging over these star-studded lineups. No matter how much talent they pack in, the results don't seem to match the hype. So why do super teams fail so often? One of the biggest reasons is that superstars just don't work well together. Each superstar player has their own playstyle, and naturally, they expect the team to play around them to maximize their impact. But when you've got multiple players with that same expectation, things can get messy fast. Instead of synergy, you end up with conflicting strategies, players pulling the team in different directions, which ultimately leads to anti-synergy. When superstars are trying to do their own thing, it creates chaos, and that's not how you win games at the highest level. Interestingly, teams with 1 or 2 veterans paired with rookies often perform better. Why? Because there's clear leadership. The veterans provide experience and direction, while the rookies are more likely to follow that lead. It creates a sense of balance and focus that super teams sometimes lack. Another major reason super teams fail is that sometimes superstars aren't really superstars anymore. Some veterans, while still carrying that big name recognition, are actually past their peak. Yet they still get signed to these rosters based on their reputation. Often, organizations bring these players on not just for their gameplay, but for marketing purposes. They know fans will tune in to watch these legendary players. But when it comes down to performance, these veterans just don't meet the high expectations set for them. A prime example of this is the 2020 TSM roster, which had huge names like Doublelift and Bjorksen. On paper, it looked like a team built to dominate, but they went 0 for 6 at Worlds, leaving fans and analysts stunned by the gap between their reputation and their actual performance. While super team failures are common, there are rare instances where they actually succeed. The key? Deep player synergy. It's essential for these star players to develop a shared vision and familiarity with each other's playstyles. Look at the 2021 Damwon Kia roster. They thrived not just on talent, but on the ability to communicate effectively and anticipate each other's moves. However, internal issues often arise in super teams. With multiple high-profile players, egos can clash, leading to a lack of coordination and poor team dynamics. If players aren't aligned, their talent alone won't guarantee success. In the end, thriving as a super team requires more than just star power. It demands collaboration, adaptability, and a commitment to putting the team first. When that chemistry is there, super teams can achieve greatness. But without it, even the most talented rosters can fall short. Now, let's tackle the big question. Should League of Legends esports consider banning super teams? The short answer is no. Super teams bring excitement and storyline drama that keeps the esport engaging. They create rivalries, underdog stories, and a sense of unpredictability. Fans either rally behind these powerhouse teams or fear them, adding layers to the competitive scene. Recent major tournaments have seen non-super team rosters clinch victory. Teams like Edward Gaming and DRX have proven that success doesn't hinge on assembling a roster of superstars. So, while super teams can be thrilling, they're certainly not a requirement for success in League of Legends. Banning them would strip away some of the excitement and drama that make this esports so captivating. Let's keep the super teams around and see how they shake things up. In recap, super teams often falter due to conflicting egos, players who may be past their prime, and a lack of cohesion. These factors create a perfect storm that can derail even the most talented rosters. Should organizations shift their focus from assembling superstar talent to building more balanced, cohesive rosters? Despite their frequent failures, super teams continue to intrigue fans and shape the narrative of League of Legends esports. They add drama and excitement to the scene, making every match that much more thrilling. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of super teams, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts. Do you think super teams will ever find a way to succeed truly? Let's hear your opinions.